I came from the mud. There's dirt on my hands.
What is going on, everybody? Welcome to the Starter Story Podcast, where today can be the start to your story. Today's guest is someone who received a scholarship for gymnastics for the University of Nebraska. In 2012, he started Spitz Fitness, and a few years back actually trained me and got me into the best shape of my entire life, hands down. I'll have to attach some photos to the notes here. In 2015, he started powerlifting, where he broke multiple Georgia State records of bench, deadlift, squat, and total. In 2017, he broke the IPL world record on bench press. And in 2019, he finalized and is still building out his home gym, which you can see in the background here if you're watching on YouTube. Ladies and gentlemen, I give you David Spitdowski. What's going on, brother? Welcome to the show.
And thanks for having me. We were just talking, it's so unreal to come full circle where both of us were several years ago when we started first working together and become really good friends. And it's just incredible, man. And we're having you're having some great weather there. We're going to hit 80 today here in Atlanta. I am pumped. I am ready for the sunshine. I'm ready to get outside, have the garage door cracked open, keep the little AC going, and I'm ready to go, man. It's been a blessing.
Absolutely. I'm excited. I'm excited I had you on a different podcast about 2 years ago, and you provided some absolutely fantastic feedback and some great lessons. So I definitely wanted to bring you on here and to share your story for our listeners, and so everyone to get to know you a little bit better. So we're going to start here. I kind of gave everyone a kind of a rundown of your story, of where you started. So let's start from the beginning. In gymnastics in college, you got hurt your sophomore year. Talk a little bit about that, and talk about what you went through with all that.
Yeah, so I got a scholarship to the University of Nebraska. I really didn't know where I was going to go. My junior year, I had a unfortunate at state championship. I partially tore my patella tendon in my right knee on my second event of the 6 events. And there were several college coaches in the audience. There was 3 of us that were juniors and seniors, and we had all free agents at that point. And we were vying for that top 3 podium position. In Georgia, we had 15 to 20 top level guys, but there was a group of us, 5 to 7 of us, that were hitting the podium, switching out places depending on who had their good days, who had their bad. And as soon as I warmed up, I knew I hurt my knee. We didn't know it was a tear. It swelled up like a water balloon, and I told my coach, I was like, this is my chance. This is the first time I've been in front of college coaches. I know they're here for another person, but I need to put my name out there. Yeah. And, thank God my coach was younger. He really he saw how hungry I was. He wasn't going to hold me back. And I competed, didn't place as well on floor, which was the event I hurt myself on, but ended up having I suck on pommel horse. I hit the best score of my season. We go to rings. That's kind of a solid event for me. We go to vault. I did literally a basic front handspring, little kid vault, landed. And I said, if you can put a mat on there, set 4 8-incher, I don't have to warm up. And he said, all right, cool, let's go. And obviously you could see him in the video. Normally he's just standing back, leaning against the bleachers, watching. He was there. Yeah. And I ended up sticking my vault. And I decided to do my bonus vault because the adrenaline was up. I stuck my bonus vault, ended with the way the scoring went, 9.95 because I had a bonus vault. So I really scored a 9.5.
Got it.
But I got bonus points. So it got me a 9.95 because they couldn't give out a 10 unless you got a perfect score on the first vault.
Got it.
Which was incredible because right then and there, Nebraska, Iowa, and Illinois immediately were talking to my parents in the audience. And so I didn't have to go to regionals that year. I missed Junior Olympic Nationals, but the benefit was I kept the relationship with all those coaches. And it was something that was incredible because I think it was my senior year. I went on 3 recruiting trips officially, and Nebraska had not brought me out. So I didn't know I was going. Yeah. And literally the week before their homecoming game for football, they had signed all their gymnasts. Everyone was signed. I was on the fence about where to go. I didn't want to be a walk-on really, but I knew that was the best option. And if I was going to be a walk-on, I was probably going to go to a different school that wasn't actively recruiting me because I would work my way onto the team.
Yeah.
I knew my hard work would pay off. So yeah, getting a call on a Tuesday on my parents, is when we still had the landline of the court. And yeah, we had a call and my mom's like, yeah, he can miss school this week. And so I flew out on a Thursday. Friday, I met the team, toured the campus, and I was able to train that evening with their Nebraska School of Gymnastics, which is their club program, because it wasn't an official recruiting trip.
Gotcha.
So I was not brought out there on an official thing with like 50 other athletes in other sports. I was brought out there by myself, and I had already been training routines. So I was like, hey, I need to do 3 routines on these events. And the head coaches, they're not in there. They don't coach the little kids.
Got it.
But what happens is some of the athletes on the team, for extra money, they coach the little guys.
Yeah.
And so I went in there, did my routines. They filmed it. We had iPhones then. So boom, filmed it, showed the coaches. The next morning at breakfast before the homecoming game, I was offered a 50% scholarship just for floor and vault. And then if I proved myself, I would get more scholarship at the end of my freshman year. Freshman year, great. Competed every single competition, floor and vault, the entire season, no breaks. That's 14 weeks straight. I had 1 week off because we had a snowstorm, and first time Nebraska had closed school in years. Blizzard, Oklahoma couldn't get to us, so we had a bye week.
Got it.
My back was pretty torn up at that point, just because of lots of routines, lots of pounding, and didn't really know what was wrong. I had a couple of cortisone shots during that season in my back.
Okay.
Didn't really know, competed through it. Top 3 at conference on floor. The 2 guys that beat me made the Olympic team in 2008.
Oh, wow.
So that was pretty cool. Those were guys that I looked up to.
Yeah.
So that was a really cool experience. In my little other room, I had that little trophy just against the wall.
Yeah.
That was probably like my highlight of my college career. Go to NCAAs. Vault was shoot par for the team, not the hardest vault, just get on the board. And then went to floor, unfortunately, stuck every pass, got to my dismount, went for the stick, slipped on my butt. And that ended up placing me 13th. So I was tied for 11th, but because of start value, 13th. Top 10 make finals. So unfortunate for me, I didn't get a second year. I went home, rested for a few weeks. They put pretty much no gymnastics for a month. Went home, and while I was home visiting my family, my cortisone shots started wearing off, and I started having numbness in my legs, and went and had an MRI from a doctor back home. I had 4 stress fractures and 2 herniated discs and an annular tear between my L5 S1.
Wow.
So an annular tear makes it to where it's like a rupture. So it's a bulging disc that has some type of leaking. They found major amounts of scar tissue, which was alarming to them. So I got some second opinions. I had talked to multiple sports specialists. I even went back to Nebraska, and their doctors recommended just rehab and still train.
Gotcha.
Dr. Home recommended 8 to 10 months in a back brace. So I ended up choosing the later, moving home. And that ended my elite career, because NCAA guys pretty much make that is the U.S. national men's gymnastics team. And so elite career was done, came home, rehab for a year, started coaching again. Few more certifications for personal training. I was really pushing, like in the gym, like 3-4 days a week. I was 5 a.m. till 5 p.m. at a personal training gym. The other days was coaching gymnastics and cheerleading. And from there, went into club gymnastics, which was just for fun. Competed for Georgia Tech for 2 years, and then 3 years as a NAIGC alumni, and ended my gymnastics career in 2013 on floor. Pretty much said it. I'm giving it everything I have, didn't hold back. I ended up winning the national title back-to-back years for NAIGC. And my now wife, Liz, was actually the person that raised the score up on floor. So that was a pretty cool story that we have to tell. But that was pretty much the end of the gymnastics career at that point.
Gotcha. That's a shame. I'm sure that's not how you pictured it ending, obviously. I'm sure you had much different visions, but you have to adapt, obviously. And that's you still, even though you weren't competing at the University of Nebraska, so you're competing elsewhere, you were still giving it your all. And that's important too. It's not just, it's, even though it might be a club thing, it's not just a half-ass, journey. It's still, that's who you are. Obviously, I know who you are. Obviously, I can see it. I can easily see that. But then what got you into powerlifting? Because that was your next journey that you started, correct?
Yes. Funny enough, Instagram was starting, and my buddy that I met through Instagram, he worked for Muscle Farm, and he was the Southeast Regional Director of Sales or something. And Ryan was like, "Hey man, come train with me and the guys. Like, we're doing this big expo at this gym, free day pass." I was like, "Sweet, like that looks cool."
Yeah.
And I tried men's physique. I did that for a year and a half.
Got it.
Worked my butt off. Literally ended my gymnastics career 2013 May. June signed up for my meet in October. So I had only a few months to prep.
Wow.
I was lean, but I didn't have the muscle mass. I was like 135 at that point, and my stage weight ended up being 130.
Oh, wow.
Which was crazy. But it was an amateur meet, local. Just wanted to challenge myself. How ripped can I get?
Yeah.
Do I have the knowledge to coach myself? I had a posing coach, and I just did the cut myself. I was happy with it. Qualified to nationals, but that was not, I told at that time we were dating, I was like, not doing another one of these. This was miserable because it wasn't me. I was competing, but it wasn't for performance. Someone was judging you based on not your efforts, not your performance, in the sense, like, I understand there's tons of artistry and amazing posing in men's physique and bodybuilding. I love watching it. It's still motivating. I still put stuff on the TV when I'm working out, whether I'm doing powerlifting or not. But I was so used to, you do X, your score is this. And when you don't have that, it's hard to I don't know if I was mentally ready for that at that time. I was young and hungry and wanted to challenge myself. And hey, I can say I went and did it. Went all the way through a prep, went right into a cut after a performance-based sport. But powerlifting, my buddy Ryan was like, "Man, come over and bench." I was like, "Man, I've never maxed on bench. I know how to bench. I go to the gym." And he's like, "Oh, come on." I think I was barely 140 at that point. And I think it was like 295. And all the guys there were way bigger than me. And they were like, "Dude, you need to do powerlifting. Do you know how to squat and deadlift?" I'm like, "Yeah, I know how to." I had horrible form on mainly sumo deadlift. I had horrible form because no one taught me the correct form at that point. And in gymnastics, we do trap bar, if anything.
Yeah.
And so it was cool. Like, he kind of took me under his wing, taught me a bit, and then just ran straight into a meet. October the following year, Halloween 2015. I remember a couple of people were dressed up in outfits and stuff. So it was kind of funny. But that was Steve Goggins. It was one of his first Goggins Force meets. It was a lot of fun. And from there, I found a community. The community doesn't matter how strong you are, doesn't matter who you are. First meet, 10-year veteran, they were cheering for you. Everyone in the audience was cheering. There was like an 80-year-old guy that went up there and squatted like 180 pounds. Everyone's cheering. Then you had a little kid go up after me, which is the guy that I have, John Greaves. He Garage Gym Life Media. I've been featured on there, and I have his banner up here. He does all the live streams for powerlifting. It was his son's first competition.
Oh, wow.
And they had to bring out like a special bar for him, that like a trainer bar. And like, it was so cool because everyone was cheering each other on. And that was like, this is my sport. Like, this is what I love. Like in gymnastics, it didn't matter if we were going against each other. End of the day, we're all friends. It's a small community. Powerlifting. And I love the growth. Like, the powerlifting's grown so much in the last 5 years on all these federations. And it's just, and that's why I'm stuck. Like, I'm hooked for the rest of my life.
Absolutely. And did you ever see yourself, breaking multiple Georgia state records for all those totals and all? You ever imagine that ever happening? No?
Dude, my first meet, I didn't even know what the records were. I went into the meet and my buddy is like, "Hey, FYI." And back then you didn't have to announce you were breaking a record. Like, they submitted your stuff and someone at their office would like go through all the state records and like, you beat it, your name went up there. And I got a email from the state directors like, hey, are you planning to do another meet next year? I want to congratulate you on a couple records. I'm like, oh, cool. Yeah, I want to compete next year. When's the next one? Because they didn't really have, now you click on event calendar on USPA and you can do it by state, you can do it by month.
Yeah.
It's great. You can do it by drug tested, undrug tested, open, money meets. Like when I competed, there was no money meets. It was invite only, and that was it. You were the top shit if you were invite only.
Yeah.
But yeah, I did a smaller meet the next year to qualify to nationals, and then nationals in Vegas. So I was like, Spitz Fitness was growing. I'm gonna focus on Spitz Fitness. I'm gonna train here. And Goggins had an expo meet, the Goggins Force Invite, which was pretty cool. They had an amateur day, pro day, and I did my first knee wrap meet. And just a different division. You use knee sleeves in raw. Classic raw, you use knee wraps. Because there was a big meet I wanted to do the next year that was invite only, and I had to have a qualifying total in wraps. And so did that meet, ended up breaking the state record on squat in my first meet in wraps on my second attempt. Broke the bench world record for the first time at 148. And that was back then, 148, it was both raw and classic raw were together.
Got it.
Now it's split. There's a world record bench for both.
Yeah.
So back then the record was 348 pounds. I think I chipped it on my second attempt. So chipping is a half kilo. So like a pound, 1.2.
Yeah.
Chipped it, went for my real PR on my third, misgrooved, just got it off my chest wrong, missed it. But that number made where my opener on deadlifts qualified me to the invite meet for the next year. It was kind of one of those, like, I did it. Like, it was awesome to break the record. And then it was even awesome to know, like, I just have to get my opener. And then of course, you build your total from there. And I barely broke the total for the 148s. And then LA was just a great experience. I went to the LA Fit Expo, invite only, top 10 in each weight class were invited. Of course, not everyone shows up, but very fortunate. A couple of guys had gotten injured during that meet, which was unfortunate.
Yeah.
But I made it through to the end and not have my best performance, but it was enough to win the LA Fit Expo in the 148 class. But I rebroke my world record by 2.5 kilos. So an official breaking the record, not chipping it. Yep.
That's awesome. That's amazing. That's so many, like powerlifting is, like you said a couple of times, has grown drastically. And that's awesome that you were kind of there at I shouldn't say the beginning, but kind of towards the beginning of that space. That's awesome. And then correct me if I'm wrong too, then you had another injury. You got in a car accident, correct? That kind of hindered the powerlifting journey for you as well, correct?
Yeah, that one's probably the toughest one for me. It changed my life. Like, it sucked.
Yeah.
I worked really hard. LA Fit Expo is huge. And from there, I had 4 more invites that year to other big meets. And that was when money was coming out. Not a lot, not at least $10,000, $20,000 meets they have these days. It's cool to see these big sponsors getting money for us athletes.
Oh, absolutely.
Like Jack Factory. I love their, not only their products, but like their gear. Like, I have 5 different shirts that say unfinished because I always reflect back to the Kobe Bryant interview. He's not happy and they're up 2 games, third game, they're interviewed. What's there to be happy about? Job's not finished. I'm here to impact people in this world. My job's not finished.
Yep.
So I got a lot more work to do.
I love that.
And I've been doing that my whole life. And so with the sport, that car accident, it came out of nowhere. Obviously, I got hit from behind, sitting on the interstate. The car behind me was stopped. The guy behind her hit her at 80 miles an hour plus with, he was texting and driving. The reason we know he's texting and driving, when he hit, his phone went into his windshield and was still in the middle of a text message.
Jesus Christ.
My car went forward. I missed the car in front of me and I hit the concrete barrier. I was on the far left lane and there was a big concrete barrier splitting us on Interstate 75 going into Atlanta. So it's a 7-lane road. I didn't have a concussion or anything. I had a bum shoulder. I had probably a torn labrum then, but it really swelled up, bruising on my hip. But what it did is it aggravated all of the back injuries from gymnastics. I ended up having 5 herniated discs. So pretty much L2 down was herniated because my foot was on the brake. So when I got hit, everything twisted. And what happened was the ruptured disc that I had a little bit of issues with. It pretty much was done. It was flat. L1 to S1 were on, L5, S1 were on top of each other. I ended up not going to the hospital, but I did go the next day and get seen. I was walking fine, adrenaline. But that night, my car, it was bummed, but I was drivable. So I decided to drive it back to Atlanta.
Yeah.
And unfortunately, the next day, numbness, radiating pain down my leg, called my physical therapist friend, and he said, hey, you need to go to the hospital. So after getting checked, MRIs for like 2 weeks, that sucked. I didn't lift anything. I had gotten my body weight up to about 165 and I dropped down to 140 in a matter of 3 months.
Jeez.
So I felt like all my hard work was going away, but there is a huge blessing here. And this is probably what I've taken out of it the most and I've reflected on the most in my life. I could feel sorry for myself. I could feel that this is the second time in my life something that was going in an upward direction was taken from me. What can I do to take that and turn it into a positive? And the biggest thing for me was pouring everything I had into Spitz Fitness. At that point, it was game over. I was willing to work 80 sessions a week. I was willing to drive from my house at 4 a.m., getting home at 10 o'clock. And my, at that point, fiance was dead asleep every time I was around. I told her, let me do this for 3 years. Like, let me push and build this to let me help as many people as possible. I promise we'll plan vacations. That was what we did. We planned vacations. And as you know, I also am penny pincher. So I always wait for like Black Friday and sales and stuff, but I like to vacation just as hard as I work. I'm not out splurging. I'm not flying private, that kind of stuff. That's Instagram fake reality stuff.
Correct.
I will pay for the Comfort Plus to have more leg room. It's like $50 more. I also have a ton of credit card points that I pour into and I use for my vacations. So don't get it twisted. Like, I work hard so that I can enjoy myself. I need that time to really shut down, to recharge. And so pouring into that for multiple years, hands down, best decision ever. Like, there's no doubt about it. Like, I was starting my online coaching business. Instagram, I was trying to produce content just on a regular basis, whether it was my recovery workouts. Back then I posted some client transformations. Now I realize that's all that matters. It matters. What my clients are doing is what matters. What I do is nothing. I can show my hard work. I could post that I'm up at 4 o'clock in the morning in the gym. That can motivate people, but we both know motivation can go away like that. You can literally get on your phone and see something negative and your motivation's gone. So yeah, I just doubled down on myself. I've always been the one to bet on myself. If I'm in a situation, there's only like 2 or 3 people I'm going to bet on, you know, myself, my mentor, and my best friend, Jared. Like, I would bet on all of us. If there's a situation, us 3, you want us 3 on your team. So that's been a huge blessing for me. Like, no doubt about it.
Absolutely. Like you said, it's Tony Robbins. I think it's Tony Robbins says those things happen for you, not to you. That's exactly. I love that mindset that you have there, because it can go one of 2 ways. People can, woe is me for the rest of their lives, and always talk about how great they were until this happened. Or you can take what happened to you and turn it around and find something else and spin off of it. So I love that. So let's talk about Spitz Fitness. You've been hitting up here and there. You know, obviously everyone that's watching on YouTube can see in the background that you're in the gym right now. Talk a little bit about that. You know, I know when I first started working with you, and you mentioned earlier too, you were doing a lot of commuting all around the Atlanta area, going to your clients, and I know that's changed recently. So talk a little bit about Spitz Fitness and how you've grown that.
So back in 2012, I started Spitz Fitness. I had been training for years. My senior year of high school, asked my parents for personal training and nutrition certification. So 2007, coached off and on 5 years, college stuff, studied business, studied physical therapy, didn't really know what I wanted to do there. And then ultimately exercise science, when my school dropped that program, when they were being bought by another larger university, I was like, I'm already working 40 plus hours. Plus I have the opportunity to go do clinics around the country for gymnastics, cheerleading. I need to focus here. So I did not finish school. A lot of people think, oh, you have a degree in exercise science. No, but I do have 16 certifications that I continue learning every single day. I know we shared a ton of podcasts that I told you about to learn because you wanted to learn about more of the fitness side when we were working together.
Yep.
And I think I sent you a list of like 20 podcasts and you're like, I don't know how I'm going to get through all these. I'm like, cool, don't. Find one you like and learn. Yep. So with my commuting, when Spitz Fitness started, it was a concierge personal training service, meaning I drove to condo buildings, I drove to apartment buildings, and I would bring equipment to people's homes. So my trunk was always full of equipment. Condo buildings and apartments had most of the stuff. I had like small things like kettle grip, which makes dumbbells into kettlebells, few bands, few random things, nothing crazy there, but my trunk was literally 5s to 30s in dumbbells, mats, resistance bands, water jug things that I would fill up for people to do that I don't really use anymore, sandbags, weight vest, battle ropes. I did that, like I said, morning to dark, and became a resident trainer at 3 condos here in Atlanta, mostly Buckhead. 2 of them were right down the road from each other. So I would try to do 4 or 5 clients, 30-minute break, drive to the other building, 6 to 7 clients, maybe go to Midtown. It was just back and forth. And ultimately, I had told my wife at that time, hey, we're married. I want to get a house closer to where I'm working. Didn't know this was going to happen. That's what's behind me. But this is where, again, I doubled down. I had a few clients, didn't really like the condo buildings because there was 4 or 5 trainers at a time, sometimes in them. And a lot of the other trainers, they were just doing the same things. My clients were seeing results, their clients weren't. So there was a lot of comparing, and we as trainers didn't see this, but those is, let's just say, roommates in a condo building, pretty much. They go talk and they're like, oh my God, you're eating this, this, and this, and I'm eating this. Does your trainer control your diet? No, he tells me what I should be eating and tells me how I can enjoy this and not suffer. And still hit my goals. And you have these other trainers that are like, here's a meal plan. Well, they're not a registered dietitian. That's not, not me to say it, but that's not right.
Correct.
And restrictive diets do not work. They're not sustainable. So at that point we moved, this opened up. I was actually training my realtor and I had an email. I was waiting on an email from a military guy that was in, can't remember where he was deployed. And so I told my client, hey, I need to check this email to make sure he's okay. I looked and it wasn't him. So it was a Zillow. So I was swiping to delete it and it said the zip code and the price. And I shook my phone, undeleted it, looked, and I was like, do you think this is a price error? And he's like, yeah, and that zip code, that house is probably, maybe they switched the 2 and the 5, whatever. I was like, okay, still 2 and 5, that's not bad. I'm actually going to that neighborhood right after this. I'll stop by. They have a master code and it just went on the market this morning. He pulled up, looked at the house, loved it, texted me, you need to cancel your lunchtime appointment and come look at this. Of course, I drove here. Thank God it was literally 10 minutes from the condo. So I was like, oh my God, this would be perfect. I'm 10 minutes from work. And I was commuting 35 to 45 minutes at 4 or 5 o'clock in the morning. So you add it to 6 o'clock, 7. If I didn't have that morning person, hour with school traffic. And so, it was a blessing. We actually put an offer in. They had another offer that night. We counter offered, and that night at dinner, me and my wife were under contract for the house, and we moved in on the day before Cinco de Mayo. That was a big deal because the neighborhood here, I'm in a little small community. They do a Cinco de Mayo party as their once a year, like HOA party. So we got to meet everyone the next day.
The next day you move in. Wow.
So that was really cool. And it was a blessing because I only had a few pieces of equipment and a squat rack. And the people in the condo building were like, hey, you ever think about building a gym? I was like, I'm going to have a home gym. They're like, let me come and train with you. And so I literally just had what's behind here. I had a whole wall. I had a squat rack. a fake cable machine that was a pulley that I attached to the ceiling,
Yep.
and all my dumbbells. And then I realized, wow, I can train twice as many people if I got them here.
Mm-hmm.
And so it was one night at dinner. Hey, can I have the garage fully? We have 2 parking places. Let me build Spitz Fitness. Let's build HQ. And it's evolved.
Of course.
I've had 5 variations, and I think it'll continue to. But right now I'm housing anywhere between 60 to 70 sessions a week out of my garage.
Mm-hmm.
And as of yesterday, hired my first co-trainer to work with me. So Tanner Hodge will be coming on full board at the end of the month with me, and we're going to continue growing Spitz Fitness.
That's amazing. That's super exciting. So I know we talked about this before, but I'm still getting goosebumps because it literally makes me so excited. Like just how far everyone comes from, how far you've come from to what you are now and what you're going to continue to build is just super exciting. And I know everyone that listening to this too, I know how excited they have to be as well, because everyone loves a good story like this, man. Everyone loves a good story. Where do you see Spitz Fitness in the next 5 years?
I've been doing a lot of thinking about this. I can thank my mentor. He has opened my eyes to what's really real. Like I came to him with ideas and I would say concerns in the fitness industry.
Mm-hmm.
I saw some missing holes, and I really did ask him. I said, I don't know how to, there's one specifically. And it took him a few weeks, and we talked it out, and it was amazing what we came up with. And I started a new program this past year, which is steadily growing. I'm up to 30 people in the program now,
mm-hmm.
called the Superhero Academy, because one of the things that's common, I don't have an ideal client. Sorry for the big programs out there that say you need an ideal client to be successful. Come talk to me.
Yeah.
That's what I'm going to tell you. Come talk to me. I'll show you that that's not true.
Yep.
If you're another coach and you're listening to this, you don't need an ideal client.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm going to leave it at that.
Yeah.
But I help people unlock superpowers. That superpower might be you're lacking confidence.
Mm-hmm.
Now you walk into a room and you are commanding the room. You are the leader in the room. You might not have the confidence to stand up for yourself at work. You've been walked all over for years, and that makes you feel bad inside, but you're feeling stronger in the gym. And that strength goes to your courage, and your courage says, hey, I need to take a stand and not be treated like this anymore. I've had multiple female clients do that.
Mm-hmm.
Those are actually the biggest wins for me. You know, I've had a couple clients lose 100 pounds. I've had one client lose 150 pounds in a year and a half. Those are life changing.
Of course. Yeah.
But they're going to live longer now.
Mm-hmm.
That's incredible. And I'm so happy for them.
Mm-hmm.
But a male or female that's in a toxic place in life, to pull them out of the toxic and put them in sunshine, those are the wins I work for.
Yeah.
That's what I want. That's what fills my cup up every day. It's not, trust me, people see it. I can get someone strong. Like I have some strong power lifters on my team.
Very.
I love it. That's my passion right there, is giving back to the sport. And great, they can hit PRs all day. And I love that just as much as a weight loss story. But it takes the cake whenever someone makes a real life change to where they are a better person, they're happier.
Absolutely.
And you can just see them radiating. They come in here or they're texting me, and it's like there is no a day that goes by that I don't get a text from a client that's a huge win in their life. And that's what's awesome. Like, I could be tired. I could be laying on the floor after squats, and when my phone goes off of do not disturb and there's text messages, man, when a win comes in, I get fired up. I get emotional. I get ready to go to help more. And I think that's a piece of me that is missing with a lot of coaches. They're just going through the day to day, and they're also looking at money signs. I think a lot of coaches chase money.
Yeah. And
you know, if you chase what I do and you have that driving factor inside, and you're never unfinished, like you're not finished. You're not finished being a coach. Like, you might have a goal number, shoot for that goal number. I'm not telling you not to. Yeah. If you want to be a successful entrepreneur or solopreneur, you need to have financial goals. But at the same time, your driving factor can't just be finances, because you will fail and you will not be fulfilled when you get there.
Correct.
I'll tell you, my best month ever financially in life. I had more personal wins in my personal life, more wins with my athletes, more wins with my clients than I checked the bank. And I was blown away at the difference. And in reality, the bank thing didn't mean anything. It just means, cool, I have more money to invest back into Spitz Fitness and grow to the next level. So in 5 years, I'm pretty excited to say, like, my online business is growing. I would love to have the Superhero Academy maxed out every month and expand on that. It's a lower entry point and it's a great way to work with me. It is an all-in-one package with an app that helps you run everything. I have a great group that's accountable. We're all in there together. We're sharing wins. We're pumping each other up. We're picking up people that are a little, falling behind, need some help. People put a problem in there and there's 10 answers right there. If I'm not available, I have clients in there that have been with me for 3, 6 months, a year, that are already there. Like, hey, here's something you can do. Here's something you can do. Hey, here's my number. This is in my private community. They're sharing their numbers and they're building their community. So having that community is what matters.
Absolutely.
That's why you have fellowships. You have you have entrepreneur groups. I love Lewis Howes. I did the Inner Circle for 6 months during the beginning of the pandemic. And I learned a ton. And the guest speakers he had were amazing. And what I got out of it was, I've already doing what's right. I just got to do more of it. Like, I got to put all my energy into it. And doubling down, betting on yourself.
Best investment you can make.
Yeah.
By far.
Hands down.
By far. Dave, I appreciate you coming on here. Where can everyone find more information about you? Where can everyone connect with you at?
So everything is at Spitz Fitness. So Instagram, I'm getting YouTube back up and running. So I have a ton of filming to do. And I have a few more tutorials coming out that I have saved that I've been using for my own community. And they've really helped a lot of people. And then on Facebook, I am getting a lot more active on Facebook. And that's just David Spitdowski. It does have Junior on the end. Don't have to worry about it. My dad doesn't have Facebook. So even his friends will add me and be like, oh, you look young. I'm young. Everywhere's David Spitdowski. If you're ever in Atlanta or online, like, and you want to reach out, contact me. Like, let's start a conversation. Let's go from there. If you're in Atlanta and you ever want to stop by, get a workout in, check out the gym, just shoot me a DM, shoot me a message, and we'll set that up. And then also my wife's business, if you're in the Georgia or Atlanta area, Flippin' Sweets and Treats.
They are amazing.
After it.
Amazing.
Yeah, I know we've sent out some stuff to you and a few others, but she's really grinding on that. And it's absolutely incredible what she's been doing. A year of research and learning and trial and error and watching this hobby turn into a business. And I couldn't be more proud of her. She's an incredible person for doing that. And she's been a huge supporter. She's always backed me. So I have to give her the big shout out, and my parents the same way. They said he sets his goals and achieves them and goes beyond them. It's because they allowed me to. They never let me think something's going to be handed to you. So
awesome. I appreciate you coming on the show, Dave, and I appreciate everyone for listening today. You guys will kick some ass. See you later.
I came from the mud. There's dirt on my hands. Strong like a tree. There's roots where I stand. Oh, I've been running from the law. Hope they won't shoot me down soon.